Hey guys, Enter the Stars. This is a kind of a catch-all video of series that I'm working on. One is currently in progress, which is The Strain, and we're seeing real-time synchronicities playing out. We're going to cover those in a minute. But this is a new series that I started watching, The Mist, just yesterday, before this strange mist descended over Great Britain, over the beaches there, and sickened 233 people. So it's unbelievable because in this third episode of The Mist, they show us the red balloons. Now, what are they doing with these balloons? Well, 33 years ago, the song 99 Red Balloons came out, and we talked all about the synchronicities surrounding that and the significance of it. That this is all about some kind of a strain. And they let these balloons off. They're trapped in this mall, and they let these balloons off to try to signal for help with notes attached to them.
We talked about this.
And I guess what she's doing here is writing notes as the mist is surrounding them, and she's writing notes on these balloons that she's going to release into the air. Please help, we're in the mall. Shocking. And they release the balloons off into the mist. To call for help. So the premise of this series is there's this mist that descends on the city, and the mist causes people to basically go crazy, and also hallucinations become real. So everyone is run and taken shelter in like shopping malls and churches and things. And this is one of the characters. He dies actually in the first couple episodes, but he's got this death's head hawk moth on his tattoo on his back. Now another one lands on this woman's hand before she runs into this guy. It's kind of like a premonition. The thing about the death's head hawk moth is it's got this skull on the thorax. And if you look at the movie cover poster for Silence of the Lambs, that is the insect that is on there. It is the death's head hawk moth. There's something about this insect that these occultists love, and so this guy ends up dying. A moth flies into his mouth and wings spread out of his back, and it kills him basically. Now, as we discussed in previous videos, the opposite date, the mirror date of the eclipse is May 12th. Listen.
6 people were killed by wildfire here in Ridgeville on May 12th in 1860.
So obviously you heard that. That's May 12th, the mirror date of the eclipse. We're seeing eclipse overlays again in this series that came out earlier this year. This is just bizarre, you guys. Red balloons, the mist. We had that crazy killer mist that came in the UK just today. And it's, oh, how do they know all this? It's almost as if they are showing us in these TV shows before it happens. Now, of course, the pastor says to her, why are you looking in all those places? All you have to do is look in the Bible. Okay? That's exactly what we're experiencing here on this channel, you guys. This is the criticism I get from those that come to my channel on the religious right. And that is their go-to thing, because they've already dumbed down your understanding of the Bible down to about 10 basic stories. And that's exactly where they want you. They don't want you digging into what they're doing. They don't want you digging into all of their deception. The Bible says the truth shall set you free, so we should look everywhere. The truth is the truth. And you're not always just going to find that in the Bible. There is such a thing as an ultimate truth, if you believe what the Bible is saying. And that ultimate truth involves truth about all things. Truth about what our government's doing to us. Truth about censorship. Truth about all these things. Of course, the foundation is in the Bible, yes. But there is so much more to know. There's so much more that will strengthen your faith once you begin to understand what it is that is exactly going on. And here's what upsets me about the YouTube platform, is that they've tilted the playing board away from you and I, citizens, the majority. They've tilted it away to shows like this, who get all of the funding. millions of dollars. They're paying all these actors, studios, and they can't stand it when someone makes $5 or $10 on a video. And furthermore, they're basically defunding the truth, because there are certain people that, in order to have the time to do this, to stand up for the truth, you have to, many of us are living on pennies. So in this scene, he says, you let a, see, and I can't even say it, the voice recognition will pick it up, but I'm going to spell it J-E-W. He says, you let that defeat you. And these guys represent the Germans. Outright racism. Now, they'll call this art, right? But in this context, it's clearly condescending and pure evil. You know, against, that's the, in terms of their definition. In other words, if I put up something like that, which I never would, because I don't preach hate on this channel, but if I did, or if I said anything bad about a J-E-W at all, that would be considered hate speech. But under the guise of art, they can get fully funded, and it's entertainment, right? This is the world we live in of hypocrisy. That I can't say anything without it being advertised or unfriendly, but yet these mainstream networks, which is all of them, right? They run this world. They can say whatever they want. Now, again, the folks at the Strain are onto us, because I went and replied on their tweet when they said the master is here during the eclipse. And so therefore, any clip that I play from the Strain now is being flagged and blocked worldwide. In this scene, this episode is called Ouroboros. And here the old man says there's something you can't run from at a certain point in your life, an enemy, and that is time. And that is what the Ouroboros is. It represents time. It represents the sine wave, which is the bell-shaped curve. That is when you graph out time, that's what it looks like. It's an oscillating, bell-shaped, linear expression of time. Okay? And it ends. All things end, right? Nothing new under the sun. And this proves it. Now, what else the sine wave is sin. That's what sin is. It's being locked in the dimension of time where we all die eventually. That is an illusion, though, because we can go outside of time if we believe in the Most High and His Son who came and died for us, who trumped time. Let's keep watching. And of course, the haters are going to deny the cherry blossom connection, and that cherry blossoms contain the substance coumarin, which is what Coumadin is derived from, which is a blood thinner. Okay? They're going to just deny that. They're going to deny that cherry blossom night, a night that was the plan of Japan to drop biological weapons onto the United States through balloons. They're going to deny that connection. Okay? They're going to deny the connection that NASA launched those balloons on the eclipse, and that the Strain was all about both eclipses. And they tweeted out that the master is here on the eclipse. They're just going to deny that, you guys. But here's another screenshot. Warfarin, another blood thinner. They need it for the doctor who passes out. He's having some kind of a stroke, and they need blood thinner, so they give him warfarin. So there are two types of blood thinners, warfarin and Coumadin. And this is from the cherry blossom. Look at, they got the red pill and the blue pill on each side. Unbelievable. Now this is a screenshot from the film Tank. This was a sci-fi thriller in which they put 6 astronauts into basically a tank to simulate a long journey to Mars. They were going to be in this tank for like 400 and something days. They dropped them down in Antarctica and left them there for 400 and something days, and they all ended up killing each other. Well, lo and behold, one of the dates that they call up before they go into some of the drama on this is August 21st. That, of course, is the date of the eclipse. But they're bringing it back to 2012. So this is interesting. Now, next you're going to see some clips from the Dark Tower. I'm going to try to keep them short. And these are things, everything we've been talking about. In one clip, they talk about The Shining. And they also show the hotel in which The Shining setting was set at in a different part.
His shine is pure.
Shine is beyond anything I've ever seen. Shine, psychic powers. He's Roland of Gilead, last of the line of Eld.
Now you just heard her say the last in the line of Eld. Now that's not a mistake. The word El, as we told you guys on previous videos, means it's a type of tree, the terebinthia tree. And in Hebrew, that is what El represents. Elohim. This is the magnetic field of life. This is the time without time. It's timeless because the toroid field keeps going. It's infinite. That is the tree. It has a trunk in the middle with branches and roots coming out. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree because an apple looks like a tree. When you cut it in half, it's got a trunk structure inside and moves up and around and then connects to its roots as well. Everything in this reality has the same basic structure of this tree. Even your body is a tree. We have fingers and appendages, branches, if you will. So we had decoded Idris Elba, and we found out that his name meant like Enoch in tree. El is tree, Elba, of course. So now they're calling him the last in the line of Eld. El meaning tree. We also told you that this Dark Tower would probably be about a tree. Before we knew anything about this film, other than the trailer, we told you this would probably be about a tree, and sure enough it is. The main character, Elba, being tree, his name meaning tree, and then also he is the last in the line of Eld, which means tree as well. So it's all here. This is all about the trees that once connected to heaven, that once was our conduit between heaven and earth. It's been severed, it's been cut off. I believe that when God placed angels at the ends of the garden, I believe that end of the garden is like Antarctica, the ring around the convex lens Earth. And I believe that when they cut off us from the garden, what they did was they cut down all the trees to the stumps. And what's left over is a residual columnar basalt structures, megalithic structures all over the planet. They try to say that it has something to do with volcanic activity, but there's no way you can have perfect hexagonal columns stacked one within next to each other all over the planet in a stock-like formation. That's not how things exist in nature, or from a standpoint of geologic activity anyway. Okay, this is what they were. They're ancient tree trunks that used to reach the heavens. And if you don't believe me, Ezekiel talks all about this. And it talks about how when the trees were cut down, they fell into all the valleys and the mountains and the rivers of earth. They fell. People are saying that's symbolic. Well, what? How could that be symbolic if they're saying that the trees fell into the valleys of all the earth? That doesn't sound symbolic to me. That sounds real.
The Dark Tower stands at the center of all things. And it's powerful energy. And it sends out powerful energy that protects the universe. Outside is endless darkness.